Bringing people and communities together on seclosounds.org.
Your listening station.
Hi, I'm Terry Sullivan and welcome to this week's Sticks radio show. This week on the show I have two guests. I have, later on in the show, I'm going to be talking to, Stephen Chapman. He's the unenviable task of playing Risby live on stage in Rising Damp. But before that I'm going to be talking to Eric Chappell. He's the man behind Rising Damp. He's the man who wrote Rising Damp, along with loads of other shows you'll know. It's going to be great having a chat with him. But before we have a chat with Eric, let's play a song. Let's play one of my favourite songs. This is a gentleman I had the pleasure of meeting in Barbados many, many years ago. This is Eddie Grant and Electric Avenue.
Join me, Tony Carty, on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. for Soundtracks, a programme of film music.
Are you crazy? The wall will probably kill you. I'll have what she's having.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
Soundtracks is also repeated on Sundays at midnight.
Today on the show I have, stage writer, would you describe yourself? Eric Chappell. How you doing, Eric?
Fine, yes, fine. I'm a stage writer, yes.
Stage writer. I mean, you've written loads of things. We'll talk about those later on. But I mean, you come from Lincolnshire originally.
I do. I'm still here.
Are you still living? You still live in Lincolnshire? I was going to ask you. That was the next question I was going to ask you.
Where I was born, actually.
You're still in Grantham.
Well, not in Grantham. I'm in a village called Barrowby, which is not so far
Oh,
away.
that's right. Yes, I know it. I do know it, actually. So
Really? Yeah.
Yes. I know that area a little bit. I've got some friends live up that way, so I do come up that way. So you were sort of fairly late into sort of playwriting.
I didn't sell a thing until I was 37. It always cheers would-be writers up to know that you can start late and make it.
Yeah, I mean, so what were you doing for all those years before?
I was an auditor with the Electricity Board and a secret writer, and I wrote terrible novels that I couldn't get published. And believe you me, they were terrible. And one day, you know how you have these thoughts? I had mine in the bath. I thought, I'll write a play. And, it changed my life. And I was about 37 then. As soon as I started writing plays, went to dialogue instead of narrative. I found that I could do it, and people were interested.
Oh, okay. So was that the banana box? Was that the first one?
The banana box, and it changed my life. I posted it. I thought at the top, this is different. This is going to change my life, and it did.
Mm-hmm. Because that became Rising Damp, didn't it?
It became Rising Damp. I did about 3 productions of it. Eventually, it was done in the West End with Leonard Rossiter, and it caught the eye of Yorkshire Television. And they asked me to do a series, write a sitcom, and just asked me to do one. I think they were nervous and thought perhaps I hadn't got anything stammered for it, and I didn't think I had. So I wrote 1, and then I wrote 2, and then I wrote 3, and then eventually I'd written 6 or 7, and then they said, right, we've got a series, we'll pull it out.
Yeah, because it ran for years, didn't it? I mean, it
20. It was run and rerun.
That's right. I remember it was a great thing. It was 28 altogether you wrote, didn't you?
28, yeah.
28.
And it was agony. I tell you, it was hard work because I'd never done it before.
No.
And, I was going to write plays and starve in a garret, and I found myself working for television, and of course it was much more profitable.
Yeah, because the original production was back in, or the first public performance was back in 71, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah, you got the year, yeah.
I have indeed. 25th of May it was, 1971.
Good Lord.
I was a young man myself then, and it was...
Just a boy.
I was just, I was 9 years of age then, actually. Actually, no, I was 8, actually, because I wasn't quite 9, but I'm giving my age away. And I actually saw it was Wilfrid Bramble played the Riggs, or what it was called Roxby.
And he played it differently, obviously a smaller man and physical power. But he played it well enough, and as I say, we were happy with what we'd got, but of course Len was something dynamic, and when somebody said Leonard Rossiter's going to play the part, I thought, I'm there, and he made it his own.
Well, he was a great character actor, and we lost him very well before his time.
And even now, to this day, I often think, I could do with Len in this part.
Yeah, he was I mean, did you... When I'm not being a writer myself, when you write something, do you envisage somebody in that role?
Oh, well, not particularly an actor, although one thinks about an actor eventually. First of all, you take a character, often from life, somebody you've known or a composite figure, and you put it together and you play it to yourself and you read it to yourself. And then you start thinking about actors, and eventually you come up with 2 or 3, and they immediately say no. There's 2 lists, the list you want and the list that want you.
Yeah, because it was. I mean, the three main characters I remember in it was obviously Risby as he was then, Leonard Rossiter, and we had Miss Jones, as he always used to call her, Ruth Jones.
Yeah,
Francis de la Tour, and then we had Philip, who was
Don
Warrington. Of course, he recently last couple of years ago was on Strictly, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
And I mean, they've all gone on. Or well, not Leonard obviously because he's no longer with us, but they've gone on to be really big names. And at the time,
Yeah.
I know Leonard was quite a big name because I remember him as a
but
boy.
he wasn't as big a name as all that.
No.
We could go in a pub and never be approached, you know. But my goodness, after a few instalments of Rising Damp, you couldn't move for people wanting to meet him. You know?
Oh, I mean, he obviously went on and did
Reg Perrin.
Reginald Perring, and they
Yeah.
brought that back last couple of years ago, didn't they? With Martin.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
With Martin Clunes. I liked it, but it wasn't as good.
No, well, they asked me to do this, or give permission to do this, but I wouldn't. I didn't think it was a good idea to try and recreate it. They asked me to do that, and I said no.
What, to do Reginald Perring?
Well, no, to do a revival of Rising Damp on television.
On television?
Well, not to do it myself, but to give permission to do it, and I said no. Because I just felt it was sort of rehashing something that worked once well. It never works as well again.
So, what? I know, obviously, we'll talk about the stage play in a little while. Why do you think it works better on stage than in the on the TV?
I think it worked well in both mediums because it was fairly, I mean, as you remember, on television, it was fairly claustrophobic. It could have been a stage play on television because we stayed in the house, we only moved between one or two sets. You know, instead of a curtain coming down, we moved the cameras. You know, it was very similar to a stage production.
Yeah, it was. I remember it was probably very cheap to make as well, I guess, at the time.
I was wonderfully cheap. I said, I may not be good, but my God, I'm cheap.
I wasn't meaning you. I meant the play itself, or the show itself.
No, it was a very economical show.
Yeah.
Shudder to think how much money they made on that, how much they came in under budget. I mean,
Oh.
no, it was considerable. You know?
I guess it was. But you went after that. You sort of you wrote another play called We're Strangers Here. That was 1976.
Yeah, that's right. They became duty free.
Duty Free. I remember that. I mean, that one as well. I mean, what a great cast that had in it as well.
Yeah, they're lovely people. They're still doing it.
Yes, Keith Barron and it was a great.
Taylor, yeah.
So I mean, and the other one I remember very, very well was another show you wrote in 1995, and it seems longer than that ago. Only When I Laugh. It was called.
It was earlier than that. Only When I Laugh was written in the beginning of the 80s, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, you wrote a play. I Can Damage Your Health.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. Oh, you've done some research.
I try to. It makes life easy for me because I can waffle
right.
with.
And for me.
Because I remember Only When You Laugh with great James Bolam.
Oh, we had good people in that too.
I know, it's amazing. I actually looked through all the TV shows that you've been involved in, and all the people you've had in your shows. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean,
we worked with actors. Nowadays, when they do a sitcom, they do use comedians more. But nowadays we used actors.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, yeah, because the one I'd forgotten about in Rising Damp was the great late Richard Beckinsale as well.
Oh, Richard was wonderful, yeah.
Yeah. One thing I didn't know about Rising Damp, because I did do a little research, as I say, it was directed and produced by Ronnie Baxter.
Ronnie Baxter, yeah. Baxter did the first. He did the first 3 series, and then Vernon Lawrence did the last series.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was one of
the top directors at the time, wasn't he?
Beg pardon?
He was one of the top directors at the time, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He was. Yes, he was. He didn't do the pilot. Why I'm hesitating was he didn't do the pilot.
No.
It was a guy who used to do Monty Python, and I forgot his name. He directed the pilot.
Okay. I mean, then you went at the one show. I don't actually remember this very well. Actually, I must admit, your next one you did after Rising Damp, you did a show called The Squirrels.
Yeah, I did that at the same time, and that's what nearly killed me because I was doing.
Oh God, yeah, it is.
Doing nothing. I was doing 2 series almost at once.
Yeah, and you had a Bernard Hepton was in that. I remember Bernard Hepton
Hepton and Ken Jones.
Yeah, I remember Bernard Hepton from it's a show called The Survivors, I believe.
Yeah, he was in a lot of things. He was very, very much a leading actor of the times, you know. He was in, was it Colditz?
Colditz as well, I believe. Yes, I remember him around. And then it was Only When I Laugh, and of course James Boland, Peter Bowles, who went on to do To Manor Born, and Christian Stroley,
Peter did a lot of things. Yeah,
Richard Wilson.
Yeah, Richard Wilson was there. He was the Doctor.
I bet you had some great laughs doing these shows, didn't you?
Oh, we did. Yeah. Well, they were a wild bunch, you know. We had some great times after we made the show.
I bet you did. Your poor old liver. No, never mind.
My word, I can't go into all that.
No, and also, then you wrote a show called The Bounder.
Yeah, well, Peter wanted to do a series of his own, you know, and we did a little deal, Peter and I had to stay with the last series of Only When I Laugh, and I'll write a show for you. And I wrote The Bounder, which did well enough, you know, I mean, but then Peter went on to do other things, and it was never stopped working. No,
I mean, The Bounder did about 13.3 million viewers.
We did all right. Of course, Com did better in those days, you know.
Yeah, well, there was only 3 channels then, wasn't there?
Sorry?
There was only about 3 channels then, I think, was it?
Yeah, you could get to number 1. I mean, I had about 12 number 1s, and that's against Coronation Street.
Yeah, that's right, you did. Well, Only When You Laugh did 17 million.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Big figures now, my goodness me.
I mean, that is unbelievable.
It is. I'd hardly believe it myself now.
Yeah.
I love the way she feels her clothes. She looks just like them girls in Vogue. I love the way she plays it cool. I think that she is beautiful. She's so lovely, 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 she's so lovely. She's pretty, fitzy. She's got a boyfriend though, and that's a pity. She's flirty, turned dirty. Ain't that the age a girl gets really dirty? I don't know how we'll make it through this. I don't know. I love the way she bites her lip. I love the way she shakes them hips. I love the way she makes me drool. I think that she is beautiful. She's so lovely, she's so lovely, she's so lovely. Well, she's so lovely, she's so lovely, she's so lovely, she's so lovely. A stunner, I wonder, was she this fit when she was 10 years younger? Come see me discreetly. She said she's got a trick or two to teach me. I don't know how we'll make it through this. I don't know how we'll make it through this. I don't know how we'll make it through this. I don't know. I think that you are lovely. 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 I think that you are beautiful. She's so lovely. 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 I don't know how we'll make it through this. I don't know how we'll make it through this. I don't know how we'll make it through this. I don't know how we'll make it through this. I don't know how we'll make it through this. I don't know.
then you did in '84 you did a show called Singles Night with Robin Nedwell. I mean, he was famous for the Doctor series, wasn't he? And
yeah, that's right. Yeah. He was. We did a play, and he was in that. And then we wrote. We did. What was it? We did Singles. That was
Singles.
It.
That was a sitcom.
Who was in it? I can't remember names.
It was Roger Rees, Simon.
Roger was in it. That was it. Yeah.
Simon Cadell, Judy Lowe, and Susie Blake.
That's right. Yeah, you got them.
I have a good.
Very good. Yeah.
I'm very lucky. I have a piece of paper in front of me, which is.
I wish I had.
Yeah, so that was. I mean, and then we mentioned Duty Free, which is it's touring at the moment, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
You had Keith Barron, who many people know from sort of various.
He's having a wonderful time. He's great, and he's enjoying every minute of it.
He comes over such a lovely, generous sort of guy.
He loves the audience, and they love him.
Yes, I think he's a warm. I think that helps if you've got somebody who's warm and.
Oh yeah, he's so approachable.
Yeah.
Easy going.
Did you?
Still drawing on a fag.
Yeah. Did you write Haggard especially for him, or was that a different?
I did write it. I didn't write it just for him, no, but I did write it, and we got him to do it.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was great. The trouble with Haggard was it was put out around the kids' time, and it wasn't a children's show, but they put it out at tea time, and we didn't do as well as we might have done.
I remember it very well, actually, and
some people do, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love my comedy, and I miss a good comedy show, actually. So,
yeah.
The lot of the stuff they put out as allegedly comedy nowadays, I choose to differ with, but then we won't.
Well, I know what you mean. I mean, I sit there and I'm accused of sour grapes, but I sit there and think, well, that's a load of rubbish.
Yeah, I mean, I sit sometimes, and I remember sitting down and watching a show fairly recently with my wife, and I actually said to her after about 10 minutes, "Is this supposed to be comedy?"
Yeah, quite.
And I couldn't, I thought.
I know, you think, well, when's the last?
When's the punchline coming? I mean, I'm not saying things don't move on, but they should move on. But for goodness' sake, it becomes a bit of a sort of.
I think they get too indulgent with some of these shows. It's quite amazing, that they put up with some awful rubbish.
Well, they seem to write it around the star.
Yeah, that's true.
And
yeah.
They get the star and think, oh, what can I put him in?
Yeah, and sometimes there's just nothing there, is there?
No, it's pretty bland. The other one I remember with great affection is Home to Roost.
That was one of my favourites, yeah, Home to Roost.
I mean,
it didn't get the figures that the others did, but it was.
Oh,
it won awards.
It did 13.6 million in 1990, which is,
And I'll tell you something else. I did that in America.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. We had a couple of seasons in America with Jack Klugman, and then.
Blimey, Quincy. Quincy.
Yeah, that's him. That's the guy. He played the lead. He played the John.
So he played the John Thorpe part. I bet.
Yeah, and we had two. That doesn't sound a lot, but in America, even to get a show on, it's almost impossible. To get 2 seasons is quite unusual.
Well, in America, yeah, because the attention span goes bad. In America, their attention span and their enjoyment, their programs are.
When I was making the show, the lead writer was dismissed before my eyes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
It was a dog-eat-dog situation.
So, what was John Thor like to work with?
John was probably the nicest I've ever worked with.
Really?
He was a lovely man. He was so understanding, so helpful, and always there with it. Always with the support. He was one of the few actors who actually said at the beginning of the show, "Eric, I like these scripts. You've written them well."
Oh, well, I mean, that's probably going to. You can have that as your epitaph, can't you?
Should. He was a great guy.
I bet he was. And then in 1991, you wrote another sitcom. You're the king of sitcoms with the Doctor Who, or people remember him as Doctor Who, and perhaps from the veterinary show Peter Davison. That was Fiddler's Free.
Oh, Fiddler's Free, that's right. Yeah, which I did. I've done a stage version of that.
Have you?
It's done occasionally. Yeah. Yes, it was right. It was a slight revival of the Squirrels. It was like a comeback time of the Squirrels doing it again. Because when I did the Squirrels originally, they wanted to bring a lot of writers in. It's the first time I've worked on committee, and some of the shows didn't work because some of the writers were only just drafted in to do a show, And I realised then I must control the situation better than that.
So, I mean, have you, since you sort of, that was the last sort of TV show you did, what have you been doing since then?
Well, writing 25 stage plays.
Stage plays. So,
I mean, you know, people don't know. If you're not in the West End, they don't know you. But actually, my stuff's done all over the world. And only last year, I had a show on in Paris for a few months, and Poland, I've got a play running. You know, they're all in translation, of course. But no, I mean, if you're not always noticed unless you're in the West End as a writer.
Yeah, because the last one I've got written down that you sort of did was Summer End, which was actually premiered in Cornwall.
Yeah, it's about old ladies.
Is it? And it was
mainly based on my mother and my dad.
Really?
And I thought I got it about right. It's a bit of a thriller. It's about two old ladies, and this old lady said that her previous companion there was murdered, and no one believes her. But then things begin to emerge. It's quite a good thriller, really.
I love that sort of thing. I recently saw Peter James's Perfect Murder, and that sounds a bit like it. I was a bit worried because when he started talking about old ladies, I looked at the date it was done in Cornwall, and it's actually my birthday. It was the 13th of August.
In Cornwall, yeah. I mean, it's done by amateurs all over. It's not quite popular,
Is most of your, should we say, your revenue now coming from sort of the plays and, you know, done by sort of, should we say, amateur productions?
Well, I always enjoy going to see. I sometimes pop in. I don't always announce myself, but I pop in and see an amateur's doing it. There's always one good performer, or even two, in amongst amateurs, you know, because they want to do it and they're as good as pros, you know what I mean? And I enjoy getting and seeing what they make of it.
And often, I guess you're very pleased.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice feeling. You know, it's a nice feeling to think people are working away at learning your line when you're sitting back doing nothing. Yeah,
I mean, that's good. I mean, Rising Damp, we go back to Rising Damp, it's probably, I don't know, maybe your most famous, I suppose, or most iconic. What was it actually like creating a sort of classic comedy series like that originally? Did you know you had a winner when you first saw it?
I think I did, yeah. I think when we went to do the pilot at Leeds, and Len came on, and he'd just been confronted with the black boy, and he gave a sort of dour look almost to the audience, and they roared with laughter. I thought, hello, we're going to get laughs even when I'm not writing the lines. Going to get it on expressions and things like that. I thought, I can't lose on this. And I knew then that I didn't know it was going to be a classic, but it turned out to be so.
Yes, it did. And obviously, did you have a hand in casting of the TV show?
Yes, mainly. Most shows they have. I mean, that's one of your rights. The writer has a right to say yes and no to actors. And Len, of course, I said yes, please. Yeah. And almost to everyone else, you know. So, but they come up with the names, you know, and then I say yes or no. That was how it used to be, anyway. Not so much now, but it was in those days.
Was there anybody else in the frame? Did you see a couple of other guys before Leonard, or?
No,
didn't?
Because it was like, we're going to do this play, and we're going to put it in the West End, and we're going to have Leonard Roster, and I would say, yes, please. I didn't really believe the West End bit, but then suddenly it happened.
So he was just a character. He was just the part of Risby, wasn't he? He really was.
Yeah, well, you see, he'd always... I only remember, he used to always play men in dirty raincoats. And his mother said, why can you get a decent part when you're dressed in nice clothes? But he didn't get him in Risby because all he had was an old cardigan.
Yeah, that's right, it was. And he always wore the same one. So, was it easier to make that connection when you know, with Risby and...
I could see it. You know, I could see. I was having trouble, because it was new to me, I was having trouble writing it, but... but every time I thought of him, I thought, my God, he's so strong, you know, so powerful a performer. You know, he'd done Arturo Ui, and he was a big name in that sense, in the acting world, but the public didn't know him that well.
No, but I guess he was, he sort of was a sort of, should we say, a forceful character?
Oh, he was
both on and off the screen.
He could be tough, he was tough with me. But he was very demanding, you know, and he wouldn't suffer fools gladly.
No.
And he was fiercely loyal to the show, and if anybody began to show signs of weakening, he would tell you that what was what.
Did he ad-lib at all? Was when he sort of ad-libbing, or sort of did he...
I think he did more than, probably looking back now, more than I remember, although he was very loyal to it. He could get through the lines. And I know that when I spoke to other writers, they said, because I had to write a lot for them, because he got through so much. And one or two writers came and said, you know, writing for him, we have to write twice as much. Because he talked so quickly. He was always clear, you know.
I've been accused of doing that as well, I'm afraid I have. Now, I mean, you've done loads and loads of things, as we've sort of discussed in the last little while, but does Rising Damp stand out as one of the high points, or the high point of your career?
Well, it has become so, only because people won't let me forget it.
Wow.
I mean, I love doing it. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was very important to me, and it was a great idea, and it worked, and great actors. So it has become a highlight, but one always likes to think that the last one you've done is as good. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, you got very lucky, didn't you, with early on in your career? I mean, I know you didn't start till you were...
I didn't realise it at the time, and I don't suppose I ever stopped to think, but looking back now, I thought I was jolly lucky to get what I got, you know.
Is there one play you've seen that you think, I wish I'd written that?
Yeah, probably. But, you know, we're all competitive, we writers. We don't spend a lot of time thinking about other people's plays.
No, that's true. Or film, then. Is there a TV show you think, I wish I'd written that?
Well, gosh.
Just to put you on the spot.
No, I mean, I can't think of a play instantly now. You've got me in a corner. Because
I know.
Play that I wished I'd written. No, I'm not, because... No, I don't think so.
It's okay. I mean, all right. You're discreet. You do your writing and that. It's quite a sort of insular life. What do you do away from sort of work, if you understand what I'm saying?
What I want.
What do you do away from work? You know.
Well, you see, my work was my hobby. You see, that's what I did away from work. Was what I did now was to write. So my hobby became my work. So I'm rather lacking a hobby.
So you don't have a hobby?
Yeah, I know. I like watching plays. I like watching films.
Okay.
And generally that sort of thing. And a pretty lazy cuss, really.
Well, we're a pair together. I can tell you, I'm a bit like that anyhow. Anyway, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you today, Eric. We'll go through quickly where people can see Rising Damp. It's obviously it's not Leonard Rossiter playing Risby, but it's a gentleman who I understand is very, very good in the role.
Very good, yeah.
And it's on at Dunstable at the Fabulous Grove Theatre on July the 10th through to the 12th. And I'm actually hoping to go along to see it. I'm really looking forward to it because I remember it.
You'll enjoy it.
With great affection. Anyhow, thank you very much for your time today, Eric.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
For me.
Walked in the cold air, freezing breath on a window pane, lying and waiting. A man in the dark in a picture frame, so mystic and soulful. Reaching out in a piercing cry, it stays with you until the feeling is gone, only you and I, it means nothing to me. This means nothing to me. Music is weaving, haunting notes, pizzicato strings, the rhythm is calling. silence. The warmth of your hand and the cold grey sky, it fades to the distance. The image is gone over you and I, it means nothing to me. This means nothing to me.
There we are, that was Ultravox and Vienna, and I can tell you now, next week on the show I have none other than Midge joining me. Right, we've just had Eric on the show. Now we're going to be talking to Stephen Chapman. He's the gentleman who's got the envious task of following Leonard Rossiter in the part of Risby. How are you doing, Stephen?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
I mean, this must be the poison chalice to a certain amount.
Well, do you know, to be honest with you, lots of friends and colleagues have said that to me, but it's been an absolute privilege to actually play the role of Risby. Yeah. For many, many years, friends have come into the local bar, people I've not known have come to me in a pub and said, oh, you remind me of somebody, and they've often sort of quoted other little dramas and stuff I've done on television, and they said, no, you're like that fellow off Rising Damp, and I think it's a blessing in a way that I look like Leonard Rossiter to some degree. I'm a chubby version. And my own father was an old hippie, and he had a long black beard, and he sort of left home when I was a baby. And he moved to Canada, and shortly before he died, sadly, he shaved his beard off, and I looked at the photo and I thought, crikey, looks like Risby. So it's always been in the genes, so to speak.
Because I'd read you last year, or start of this year, you'd bought a book on Leonard Rossiter, and you sort of were looking around at shaping a show around him, sort of a one-man show. Well,
exactly. I never thought this opportunity would arise, and I've always said to myself, I'm going to give it a crack at doing a one-man show. And I spoke to a friend, a director of mine, a few years ago, and he said, you've got to find a piece of drama in his life, in Leonard Rossiter's life, and you sort of base it around that and develop on that. Never had the opportunity to do that, and it last year sometime I thought, I've got to sit down and do it before I'm too old. And then out of the blue, my agent rang and said, do you fancy going up for this part? And I just grabbed it with both hands. Yeah,
because you're not strangers to sort of either stage or TV work. You've been around, you've done some great shows. I was sort of looking through your CV. You've been in Coronation Street.
Yeah, I've done the street many times, and was on Emmerdale a couple of weeks ago. But the thing is, when you're a jobbing actor like I am, you move around. There's a circuit of things you move around, and to be honest, I've been doing it for over 20 years now. I was a chef before that, and I sort of dabble in all sorts of things, and I just embrace whatever comes my way. I must admit I can be a bit lazy at times, but I organise festivals, and I'm a gardener on the side, so it's good because you can bring all those experiences to the fore when required.
Because you're originally from Wales, aren't you?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, but you've also worked at the Royal Shakespeare Company as well.
Well, actually, that's a mistake. I haven't worked for the Royal Shakespeare Company. I've done plenty of Shakespeare, but I've never actually worked for the
Royal
RSC. I'd love to, but that opportunity not come my way to date.
And you've got your own production company, or company?
I used to run an outdoor promenade theatre company called Fool's Gold with some friends of mine from the Wirral, and I sort of look back very, very fondly at those years. We performed all around the Wirral at some great parks, and in fact we are taking Rising Damp to New Brighton, to the Pavilion Theatre there, and there's an old Napoleonic fort at the end of the pier there, or the end of the prom. Fabulously quirky building, which was revamped for the Second World War, and I've done many an open air show there and had an absolute hoot with the sea crashing up over the top when it's blowing and the tide's in. So I've got fond memories. I'm so looking forward to going to New Brighton.
So it brings back the old memories. So have you? I know you said you sort of do gardening and other things. Have you always wanted? Did you always want to be an actor?
I've always enjoyed art. I love working in my local community, and where I came from in North Wales, I was very much part of a group of lads there that did all sorts of crazy things, and I dabble in all genres of art. And it was during the mid to late 80s when I was chefing. I joined a local Amdram company in the local town of Portmaddock and did panto, and I thought, well, if I'm serious about this, I need to be with people that enjoy talking theatre. So I joined a small theatre, the Little Theatre in Llangefni on Anglesey. And it was born out of that. I met one or two wonderful people, a guy called Jim Fieldsend and Hulina Jones, who sort of mentored me and gave me the confidence to go forward and give it a try. And then I, due to family circumstances, I couldn't move away at the time, but I grabbed it in 1990 before I hit 30. And I got into Manchester Polytechnic, which is a great course. And, it just moved on from there, really. And
the rest is history. Don't you just like to keep working?
Oh, exactly, yes. I love to dabble. So whatever, different things come you. I had a lovely job a couple of years ago. I did an advert and had to go right up into Greenland. They wanted a fisherman aboard a trawler with an iceberg behind him. I just thought, this doesn't happen every day. It was amazing.
I bet that's a great place. I've never been up that part of the world, but it's somewhere I've got the yearning to go to, actually. It's one of those, a lot of people like the old hot and the cold and thing, but I've quite got a yearning to go to Iceland and Greenland and those sort of places. So.
Well, the funny thing is, I think apparently, I've never been to Iceland, they are quite, one's called Greenland, which is covered in ice, and the other's called Iceland, which is not necessarily green, but doesn't have as much ice on it.
No.
Because people basically live around the fringes of Greenland, and we went to a settlement called the Lulisat, where the Jakobsen Glacier comes out into the sea, and that's where they say the iceberg that sank the Titanic came from. And it's a town settlement where they brought all of the Inuits together. You can see it's a tough existence up there. There's a lot of alcohol problems and drug problems simply because of 6 months of daylight, 6 months of darkness. It's a tough existence.
Yeah, and your this version of Rising Damp is actually directed by Don Warrington.
Well, last year, the first tour was directed by Don himself, which was great. So we were actually steeped in
the heritage,
the history of Rising Damp, which I'm not sure if Eric made you aware of yesterday. Began life as a stage play.
That's right, he did.
And Don was in that original one. I think Wilfred Bramble played the part of Risby in that, and Philip's character tended to be the through line, if I'm correct. And then again, once it came to the TV screens, Leonard Rossiter was given the role and basically made Risby his own. And the fascinating thing about the story, from our perspective, is the four actors in this version. You can sense that that they're sort of four misfits that all actually need each other. There's been debate around the racist elements of it, but in fact, looking at it, you sense it's as much bigotry about Risby and the generation he comes from, and in fact, the character of Philip comes out as the strong character at the end of the play.
That's right, because I remember the TV version very well, and I think Philip played up on being an African chief or something like that, didn't he, or something, if I remember correctly?
Well, he's probably one of the biggest con artists out, because that's what you'll find with this production. Everyone gets to come up, and it's all spurred on by Philip and his stories of who he is, and they all play off that. The character of Alan, the character of Miss Jones, the character of Risby. I won't give too much away what happens in the play, but the wonderful thing about performing this, because the tendency is with stage plays taken from television, is people will say, well, it's not going to be the same. I can honestly say that Eric's adapted this piece to be as near to the telly as it possibly gets. It's got all the classic scenes in it, the boxing fight, the pills, the Lovewood, they're all there. And having spoke to many audiences we've been to, ask them what their expectations, and their expectation is always what's going to come through that door at the top of the show. And today, touch wood, we've not had a disappointed audience who haven't said you gave us exactly what we came to see.
Well, I'm looking forward. I'm coming to see you in Dunstable, so you better be on your mettle that night. No, I'm joking. I'm coming to see you in Dunstable. I'm not sure which night yet, but I'm going to come along and see you because I love the play. I love the show myself. I thought it was a great show. We're almost sort of out of time with you today. I need you to do one thing for me. Can you please say the immortal line for me?
What with that Miss Jones?
Yes.
Oh, Miss Jones. I mean, I'm very fortunate this year. I've got a new Miss Jones. And she's absolutely delectable as Miss Jones. I mean, the only thing missing, obviously, from this play is Vienna. But I mean, she's there in the back. She's there behind the set. I mean, and it's a wonderful set and all. But yes, I mean, the trouble is I have to put up with those two students. They get in the way.
Anyway, thank you very much, Stephen. It's been an absolute pleasure.
That's my pleasure. We look forward to seeing you all at Dunstable.
Yeah, it's from Thursday till Saturday the 10th till the 12th of July at the Dunstable Grove.
Yeah, and if you want a really good night out and a belly laugh, come and see Rising Damp.
Will do. All right, thank you very much for your time.
Cheers.
This is Seclo Sounds, and you can listen to us by clicking Listen Live on our homepage at seclosounds.org for a choice of players. Via TuneIn Radio at www.tunein.com, search for Seclo Sounds and listen online or download the TuneIn app. You can download the Seclo Sounds iPhone app from the iTunes App Store, and you can listen to us on demand at our replay page.
All the dreams we saw
There we are. That's a song called I Can't Fly from a local band called TMB, or the Marcus Band, fronted by a local musician called Ben Marcus, whose world changed back in January 2012 when he was diagnosed with prostate cancer and told he has 12 months to live. He proved them wrong. Whilst undergoing grueling radiotherapy and chemotherapy, Ben found a new love and a new songwriting partnership. Inspired him to get his old band back together and to record their new album called Going Home, which is due out on the 21st of July. Let's play another song from theirs. This is also from the album. This is called Daring Dark.
In the daring dark, your song on my breath, your taste in my heart, and nothing is safe. Your taste in my heart, you love me to death. You're loving me to death tonight. I love you the most when my sky is red, disturbing my ghost. I'm losing my thread. I'm burning like toast in your feather bed. You're loving me to death tonight. Don't close your eyes, don't turn away from me. Don't improvise, don't hide away with your subtle knife. You can't lose my soul. You carved me and I'm yielding control. You scar me for life. Don't want no parole. You're loving me to death tonight. In the daring dark, my feelings unreal. I'm aching to start the sweetest ordeal. I'm straight to the mark. We're sealing the deal. You're loving me to death tonight. You're loving me to death tonight. You're loving me to death tonight.
There we are, that was Daring Dark from the Marcus Band. I'd like to thank my guests today, Stephen Chapman and also Eric Chappell. Next week on the show, I have, as I said, I have Midge-Ure. As always, I've been Terry Sullivan. This has been the Styx Radio Show. Until next week, it's bye for now, and I leave you with Ultravox and Dancing with Tears in My Eyes.
Dancing
MK Pulse proudly sponsors Seclo Sounds. MK Pulse is Milton Keynes' local magazine, bringing helpful information on food, health, fashion, money, travel, culture, and much more to 66,000 readers every month. Plus news, views, and what's on from around the city. If it's happening in Milton Keynes, it's in MK Pulse, and it's available online at www.mkpulse.co.uk. MK Pulse and Seclo Sounds, the heart and soul of the city.